Have you ever found yourself wondering, am I actually old enough to do this? You know that feeling, right? As you're navigating life, hitting milestones, trying to figure out all the rules.
Uh-huh.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive. We've got this stack of essential legal info you shared, all about the key legal ages, well, every young person in India really needs to know.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about, following rules, it's more about understanding a kind of roadmap for life, empowering you.
Exactly. And it's amazing how often misunderstandings pop up around these ages. Knowing them isn't just, ticking a legal box.
Right.
It's fundamentally about protection. It's about empowerment. We're going to look at, everything from driving and voting to contracts, even criminal responsibility. Get into the why behind it all.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with maybe one of the most critical and, often misunderstood, the age of consent. Under India's PRCSO Act, that's the Protection of Children from Sexual Offenses Act, 2012, the age of consent is firmly set at 18 years.
And the implication there is huge. It means any sexual activity with someone under 18 is legally statutory rape. Full stop.
Even if, and this is the tricky part, even if it feels consensual to the people involved.
Yes, exactly. The law prioritizes vulnerability over what someone might feel is maturity. It's a really critical safeguard against exploitation.
That really brings to mind that case, remember Satish v. State of Maharashtra back in 2021?
Oh yes, the skin-to-skin contact ruling.
That one caused quite a stir.
But the Supreme Court stepped in pretty quickly, overturned it, and strongly affirmed that any sexual contact with a minor is punishable, period, no matter the specifics.
And that's the core takeaway, really. You might feel mature, but legally, under 18, you cannot give consent. Understanding that difference is vital because getting it wrong, the consequences are incredibly severe for everyone.
Okay, so that's the protective side. Now let's talk about where your voice gains legal power, another cornerstone, voting.
Right.
The 61st Constitutional Amendment back in 1988 set the minimum voting age in India at 18. And that's when you officially become, let's say, a direct stakeholder in the democracy. It's not just symbolic.
Stakeholder. I like that term.
Yeah, you get the actual power to elect leaders, to participate in change, even campaign for things you believe in. Your individual voice gets legal weight. It fundamentally changes your relationship with the state.
It really does. And we've seen young people test that power. Back in 2014, there was that 19-year-old activist in Bangalore.
The PIL.
Yeah, filed a public interest litigation, a PIL, pushing for youth voices in city planning.
Now, okay, the court didn't rule in his favor then, but it sparked a whole national debate.
Which is a great example.
Yeah.
Reaching that age isn't just about following laws. It gives you the power, the agency to actually try and change them, to drive conversations.
So from using your voice in democracy, let's shift gears quite literally to hitting the road, driving ages. These are a bit more layered, aren't they?
They are. So at 16, you can apply for a license, but only for gearless two-wheelers and only up to 50cc engine capacity.
Okay, so quite limited, very limited. Then comes the big jump. For cars and for bikes above 50cc, you absolutely have to be 18. That's under the Motor Vehicles Act, 1988. It reflects the greater responsibility, the higher risk.
And the consequences for ignoring these rules are, they're serious. I remember that really tragic case in Delhi, 2016, a 17-year-old driving without a license.
Yes, fatally hit a pedestrian. A terrible situation.
And it wasn't just the teenager who faced punishment, right? The parents were also charged. Is that common, the parental liability aspect?
That's a really important point. Parental liability isn't automatic for all juvenile issues, but it's definitely emphasized with vehicles because of the danger, There's an expectation parents ensure their kids follow driving laws.
So it really drives home the message.
Exactly. It's not just knowing the age. It's deeply understanding the real-world severe consequences, which can ripple out to the whole family if these laws are broken.
Okay, so driving is a privilege with huge responsibility. Let's talk about another area where age matters a lot. Stepping into the world of work. Legal employment ages.
Right. The main law here is the Child and Adolescent Labor Act, 1986. The general rule. Under 14, children cannot be employed, period.
No exceptions.
Well, there's a very narrow exception for helping in a family business. But even that has strict conditions, like it can't interfere with schooling, specific hours, things like that. It's tightly regulated.
And what about older teenagers? Say 14 to 18.
Okay, so for hazardous jobs, think factories with dangerous machinery, mines, chemicals, the minimum age is strictly 18. For non-hazardous work, those between 15 and 18 can be employed, but again, only in specific types of work listed as safe, with rules around working hours and conditions. Safety is paramount.
And how well are these laws enforced?
Enforcement is key. And there was a significant moment with the Bhakpan Bakhao and Dolan v. Union of India case in the Supreme Court, 2017.
Ah, yes. Rescuing children from factories.
Thousands of them. That case really led to much stricter enforcement across the country. It showed a renewed commitment to upholding these child labor laws.
So, the message for anyone listening, especially if you're young, if you feel pressured into work that seems unsafe or just wrong, it's not just unfair.
It's explicitly illegal. And there are protections there for you. Don't hesitate to seek help.
Okay. Beyond work, beyond driving, what about things like signing agreements, things that bind you legally or financially? Is there an age for signing contracts?
Yes, absolutely. And this one's crucial, but maybe less talked about. According to the Indian Contract Act of 1872, you have to be 18 years old to enter into a valid, legally enforceable contract.
18 again. Seems to be a magic number.
It really is a threshold for legal majority in many areas. The idea is you need a certain level of maturity and understanding before making significant legal commitments.
So let's get practical. If you're, say, 17 and you sign a lease for an apartment or maybe buy something expensive online using EMI, that contract might not actually hold up.
Potentially, yes. From a strict legal standpoint, it might be considered voidable or even void ab initio, meaning invalid from the start because you lacked the legal capacity to contract.
Huh. There must be cases around this.
Oh, sure. There was one where a 17-year-old tried to sue a company about a phone he'd bought. The court basically said, sorry, the contract you signed was invalid from the beginning because you weren't 18. It actually protects minors from being locked into deals they might not fully grasp.
Interesting protection. Okay, let's move to another really significant life event. Marriage. What are the legal ages here?
Currently, the law is 18 for women and 21 for men. But, as you probably know, there's a big discussion happening right now.
The proposed bill, right? To make it 21 for both.
Exactly. The push is towards gender equality and also promoting, better mental and physical readiness before marriage.
It's quite a shift if you look back historically, isn't it?
Definitely. The old Child Marriage Restraint Act from 1929 initially set the age at 14. It really shows how society's views have evolved, putting more emphasis now on education, maturity, independence first.
And for anyone even thinking about ignoring the current ages, the consequences are serious.
Very serious. Marrying before the legal age isn't just frowned upon. It can lead to imprisonment, not just for the couple, but potentially for family members involved, priests officiating, even guests attending the ceremony.
Wow, that's strict.
It has to be. But there's also a crucial safety net. The Prohibition of Child Marriage Act of 2006 gives a minor the right to get the marriage annulled once they turn 18.
So an escape route, legally speaking.
A vital one. It empowers individuals trapped in child marriages.
Okay, this next one is complex. Criminal responsibility. How does age factor in when it comes to breaking the law? It's not straightforward, is it?
Not at all. And it starts with something quite surprising for many people. In India, a child under the age of 7 cannot be held criminally liable for any offense.
Under 7. Complete immunity.
Complete immunity. That's Section 82 of the Indian Penal Code. The law basically presumes they are incapable of forming criminal intent, what's called doli incapax.
Okay, what about slightly older, say between 7 and 12?
Then it gets nuanced. Section 83 comes into play. There's still a presumption of incapacity, but it's rebuttable. The court has to look at the child's mental maturity. Did they understand the nature and consequences of their actions? It's assessed case by case.
But things have changed for older teenagers, especially for very serious crimes.
Yes, that's a major development. The Juvenile Justice Act of 2015 brought in a significant change. Now, for heinous crimes, things like rape or murder juveniles between 16 and 18 can be tried as adults.
That was a big shift. What prompted that?
It was very much a direct response to the Nirbhaya case in Delhi. One of the individuals involved was just under 18, and the perceived leniency under the old juvenile law caused widespread public outrage.
Right, I remember the debate.
That case was the specific trigger. It led to this legislative amendment, reflecting a societal demand for greater accountability from older juveniles committing extremely serious offenses.
Okay, that covers the major areas. Before we wrap up, maybe some rapid-fire rounds on other legal ages people might bump into.
Sure, good idea.
Buying alcohol.
Varies by state. Generally ranges from 18 to 25. You need to check locally.
Joining the armed forces, say, through the NDA.
National Defense Academy. That's 16 and a half years old is the minimum age to apply.
Owning property in your own name.
You need to be 18 for that. Age of majority again?
Getting a passport.
Any age, actually. but minors need parental consent.
Making a will.
18.
Yeah.
You need to be an adult to legally decide on distributing your assets.
And what about filing a PIL, like that activist we mentioned?
Interestingly, any age. Though usually if a minor files one, it's done through a guardian or a next friend. But the right exists.
Okay, that's a lot of ground covered. So bringing it all together, what's the big picture for you, the listener?
Well, I think the main point is that law isn't just some dusty book of rules.
Right. It's active.
It's a critical roadmap for your life. And knowing these legal ages, really understanding them, empowers you. It protects you from fraud, from exploitation, helps you avoid making some really big mistakes. It guides responsible decisions.
Yeah, it's like having the right map for the journey.
Exactly. For every young person listening,
Yeah.
think of this knowledge as a tool, a powerful one. Use it for yourself. Use it to help people around you. Whether you're just starting a job, thinking about relationships, or just turning 18.
Knowing your rights.
Knowing your rights truly is like having a superpower as you step into adulthood. It gives you agency, protection, confidence.
Couldn't agree more. And maybe a final thought to leave everyone with.
Yep.
Just mull this over. That fundamental truth that knowing the law, well, it isn't just about staying out of trouble.
No, not at all.
In a very real sense, it's your first step towards real freedom. Making informed choices, navigating the world confidently, that's powerful.